Top 5 2023 quarterback Dante Moore commits to UCLA, flips his commitment from Oregon to UCLA right before signing day. This is the type of stuff that we love when we cover college football because we get to talk about these guys, and signing day is going to be nuts this week. So let's talk about Dante Moore in this video. We're going to go over what he does well, his film, his breakdown, and his overall outlook for the Bruins. So let's jump into it. All right. What we wanted to do on this channel is just talk to you guys about college football all the way, and we're going to be talking about outcomes, especially now that recruiting is here. So let's get into Dante Moore. So he's going to commit to UCLA, and this is kind of a shocker in the college football world. We've been hearing rumblings for the last week or two, and then bam, it happens. And so this is just exciting. A top 5 quarterback in the class. So let's just dive into everything he has. So we're going to look at his tape. We're going to look at what he did in high school. So let's just look first of all at high school. Let's look at his high school stats, and you'll see this. You're going to notice something about him. He started as early as a freshman. He came out there. He's probably one of the most complete quarterbacks and polished quarterbacks of this class in terms of hey, he's played since he was a freshman in high school. And he's played against top competition in his state, and he's looked very good. So when you're looking at just overall, you see the improvement there, the completion percentage, and you see his senior year. I think the thing that stands out to me, just looking at the numbers, is just how much he improved that touchdown interception ratio. You see it there. And I think you just see that solid improvement, right? And then I think when you look at his tape, you can see it every year. He's probably played the most out of all of these quarterbacks that I've dived into. Now, we've talked about these things on our Patreon. We've talked about them. We had a whole quarterback class of these guys. Christian Williams had Dante as his quarterback 2. And I know a lot of people have him the quarterback 1. And the biggest thing that just popped out on his tape for me was just very good at everything. Solid. Looked at his numbers, kind of everything there. So that's one of the things to notice. And he finished his high school career at the 40-11 record across the 4 seasons. He won 2 state titles and appeared in another state championship game. So in 4 years, he almost won 3 championships at that high school level. And you have to love that about Dante and his just competitiveness and what he came through. Now, let's talk about the things that he does well, and then we'll go in things that he's probably going to work on. So 1, maturity. You saw it from there, and his coaches thing, and they rave about him. They rave about his work ethic. They say, hey, he came in ready to go. And it shows something to have a quarterback that can play as a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. Even at the high school level, as a high school coach, I see these kids. I see these develop, and a teacher. And they need that maturity to step into the situations. And to win 2 state championships and go to a 3rd, that's absolutely phenomenal. We're looking at him at All-American Bowl, Polynesian Bowl, Elite 11 finals, all the things that he does. Just a mature overall player. And you notice that with his game. His release, you're going to notice this on tape. He gets the ball out quick. He's got pretty good velocity. When you watch him play, he gets into it. He delivers his throws when he takes hits. He does a lot of those things when you're talking about Dante Moore that I think stand out to you on the tape. And in accuracy, I think that he has pinpoint accuracy at different levels of the field. And I do believe that. I think he can get it to his places that he needs to get it to when he wants to, and when he has mechanically sound, when he steps up, gets into the pocket, those type of things. Those are the 3 things that really stood out to me. And I think when you're looking at it overall, he's a very solid prospect. There's not a ton of things that he can't do well on the football field. And I think also arm angles, when you watch the tape, he gets out of pocket. What can he do out of pocket? What does he do out of, when the pocket breaks down and the play breaks down? I think his functional athleticism, he can run enough. It's not really a detriment or a plus. He can get out there if he needs to. So it's a little bit different than DTR is going to be, right? Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who we've seen at UCLA for it seems like the last 10 years, but it hasn't. And so it's going to be a little bit different athlete, but he still has that athleticism. Now, things that he's going to work on when he gets to college. So I don't like to say weaknesses because these kids are all young and they don't deserve weaknesses. They're going to get better at it. The one thing I will say is we know what he is, right? As a quarterback, he's been playing for so long. So I think the biggest question mark I have from a fantasy perspective, but also just from a perspective of him as a quarterback, what is his ceiling? Right? Do we know, is this his ceiling right now? So we've seen it. Hey, we saw that progression. We see what he is. Is he going to go 70%, have 30 touchdowns? What is his ceiling going to be? And is it capped already just based on how long he's played? Or is he still getting better? And then when he gets to UCLA, gets that college coaching, we're going to see a higher ceiling, right? So this isn't necessarily a knock. It's just, is this who he is as a quarterback? Where these other guys that we've talked about in the class, maybe they have a little bit of a higher ceiling, right? I think his touch could get, work on it. And not necessarily that he doesn't have touch. I think when to throw it with touch, when to get it to the areas, because I think he has the accuracy, like I talked about, and he's got the release. I think the decision to throw it with touch and the decision to get it to different spots on the field, I think that's something to improve on. And I think when I was just watching it, going through the tape, going through it, cutting it down, like those are the things that I highlighted as I went through. And I don't necessarily, he has a good arm. Like, I don't think he has a bad arm. I think that when you're looking at it, I think he can get it to the places he needs to, but I don't necessarily like, it doesn't pop off to me. Like, it doesn't say like, oh yeah, he's got that, the howitzer. He's going to get it to those areas. So cap ceiling, a little bit of touch, and like the arm strength. Like, what does that look like for us? Like, is it good enough for NFL level, right? And I think that's the question mark. And maybe, right? Those are the areas. Now let's pop on the tape and show you guys what we're talking about. So you're going to see it here. Billy, step up in the pocket. So again, the arm strength is there for that throw, right? That's not bad. Gets it on the number. So those are the things you like to see there. Again, steps up in the pocket well. I think he does this really well. Like, he gets out his guys, but he's got pretty good, athleticism, and he's got pretty good footwork. So you see him out of the pocket here, gets it around his body, and this was a hell of a throw. Like, this was probably one of my favorite throws. I wish we didn't have to watch Hudl tape to see it, but we do, because this is the life that we live. But again, you're going to see it here. Gets his body across. He knows where he's going with that ball. He sees that receiver there. And I like how he kind of, that's a tough throw. Getting it over the corner, chasing him, getting it there. Like, that is a legit throw. Like, that's the one that excites me as a prospect. And I know Christian highlighted that when we were talking about it on Patreon. And again, a little bit of touch. So you see he has it. Like, he gets it to the side. And those are these highlights. Like, right when we're watching his tape, like, these are the things that stand out to you. Like, oh, okay, he's got that. Now, I think the inconsistency thing was I'm pointing to. But again, a little bit functional athleticism, but he gets it to his guy. Like, that's a hell of a throw too, right? Gets it out of platform. He doesn't look to just run. And I think that's one other highlight that I wanted to kind of touch on, is that he's not just going to go run and take off when he feels pressure. He goes and looks for the ball downfield, and he likes to throw it downfield. He likes to put pressure on that defense. So that, again, that's another one. Again, you'll see it here. Bam, he just got rocked. So if you didn't see that one, again, just watch him here. Like, he steps up. He's going to take that hit. He just gets knocked on his butt, but he is still able to deliver a strike across the middle of the field down there. Like, that's a legitimate throw. And that's something that they highlighted here is like, hey, he can go do that. He sets his tone. He gets it up there, and he can take hits and deliver, right? So, I mean, his tape is fun. Like, if you're a UCLA fan, you're excited right now because you just went from DTR to Dante Moore. And I think and then we're going to talk about the outlook. We're going to look at the depth chart. We're going to cover that in a minute. But when you're looking overall, like, this is a home run. This is a Kelly. Hey, he got a guy that can kind of elevate that offense a little bit more in the receiving area, right? When we're talking about the passing offense. And I think as a better pure passer than DTR is going to be, like, than he probably ever was. And again, on the run, gets it to his guys. Like, I think he's going to highlight well. We know what Kelly can do with quarterbacks in that offense. And I think this is the first one. Obviously Mariota, like, probably in terms of passing wise, I would put more ahead of him, right? So, I mean, this is the first kid that we're seeing here, and I got to put the big guy touchdown in when I was cutting it up. Is just, when you're talking about, like, he is legitimately the best quarterback Kelly's probably had in terms of just a passing quarterback, not like an overall quarterback. So don't come yell at me out there, but just a passing quarterback. So I wanted to put this throw last. You see him put it on the numbers right here to his receiver. Like, that is very good. So when you're thinking about what he does well, those are the things that highlight him. Now let's talk about the outlook. So let's just go through like the recruits real quick. So we're looking at the recruits for UCLA. They really targeted some wide receivers. So Jeremiah McClure went to Mater Dei, 6'2" kid, 4-star kid, probably one of the best receiving recruits they've gotten in a while. He's coming. Grant Gray, he's coming, 4-star kid, obviously from NorCal, California. St. John Bosco, they got safeties. They have Luke Duncan coming in, quarterback. Now, will he stay? Will he commit to that? Maybe. 6'6" kid, from Orinda, California. You're going to see that. Then on the flip side, they got to transfers, when they're coming in right now. Spencer Halstead's from Purdue's coming in, and it looks like he's going to probably play an interior offensive line. The question is Colin Schlee. Colin Schlee was from Kent State quarterback, and people were really building him up as like, hey, he's going to be that next UCLA quarterback. Does he stay with his commitment, or does he opt out and go somewhere else, right? I think that's the biggest one for Colin. If he stays, now this is the recruiting, this is the quarterback room we're talking about now. So when we're thinking of like, if he stays there, what is this going to look like in that room? So you're going to have, obviously we just mentioned Colin Schlee will be coming in. Then you have, the two recruits. So we're thinking Dante Moore is going to be in there. And then obviously if he stays, Luke Duncan's going to be there, right? Luke Duncan was still a 3-star. He's not, not terrible. And then you got to also talk about Ethan Garbers, Newport Beach college kid. He obviously transferred there. Ethan's a redshirt sophomore. He's been in that offense. He knows that offense. So this is going to be a pretty hotly debated, or hotly contested quarterback room and debated, like, hey, who should start? Should Dante come out of way? And usually I would say no for freshman quarterbacks, but Dante's a different quarterback. He's been playing legitimately for 4 seasons. He's seasoned. He's ready to go. And so that's what's exciting about it and that's about this move. So I'm excited for the recruiting. I'm excited for college football recruiting. This is one of my favorite passions here. We're going to keep doing this on the channel, so you're going to check it in the playlist here for the recruiting. We're going to highlight certain players that go different areas. And obviously we know all of that, the Arch Mannings and all these guys, but what can guys like Dante Moore step up? Remember, UCLA is also in the Big Ten. So we're thinking of now in 2024, he's going to be going there. That may have played a role in this. I know we got NIL money, but we don't know the numbers. And just throwing out numbers like that is reckless for these kids. But going to the Big Ten now you're thinking, hey, UCLA, USC, go in the Big Ten in 2024. We're going to see him against that, those opponents in that area. At least next year, we're going to see him and Caleb Williams, USC. That's going to be so exciting. And then moving forward, Malachi Nelson. Like, these are so many great things for UCLA football and what they're able to accomplish, and USC and now the new Big Ten, right, in 2 years. So hit that like and subscribe button. Let us know how we're doing. We appreciate you guys. If you like college football, you like this stuff, check out our Patreon, but at least follow our channel, hit our like, comment below. What do we think about Dante Moore going there? What is our outlook for the Bruins? So appreciate you guys. I'll check you guys next time.